家好，欢迎收看今天的《活在5点》嘉宾访谈环节。那我们今天呢，又请到了我们的老朋友安省的移民厅厅长 Michael Cotto 先生做客我们今天的嘉宾访谈。那大家都知道，很多移民呢是为了加拿大的蓝天绿水来移民到这里。那今天呢，我们就这个环境问题呢展开一点讨论。So nice to see you again,
Nice to see you.
Cotto.
Nice to see
so
you
yeah,
today.
we're going to talk about the environment. You know, I don't know. Well, personally, I don't know much about environment. So why, the environment is related to immigrants? Can you explain that?
Good question. What's the relationship between my portfolio and the environment or clean energy? And it's interesting. When people are looking for places to settle in North America. They want to choose, and I've heard this often from people who are new to the country. They want to choose a place that, that has a very clean environment. And Ontario has one of the best track records in all of North America when it comes to building a long-term, sustainable, clean environment. And there are many examples of what we've been doing in this province over the last 10 years. And I think it's important for people to understand, where we came from 10 years ago and where we are today. And there's so many examples of the improvements we've made in the system. And as a newcomer, and who decides to come to a place that is environmentally clean, there's a second piece. Citizenship involves active duty in ensuring that we continue to build a clean environment, so our children and our children's children can continue to benefit from the great outdoors and the great environment that we've inherited as Canadians.
Cotto 先生说呢，就是我们今天的 Ontario 和10年之前相比呢，有很大的不同。那么政府都做了哪些措施，使我们的安省变得更加美好呢？我们接下来问他一下。So, the pollution is always a concern for, all the people in the world, not only Ontarians. So the government what the government does, to provide a better environment for all the Ontarians?
Well, if we go back a decade ago in Ontario, and I know that you've been here for a few years, right?
For 5 years, actually.
So if you go back 10 years ago, so you weren't here, but if you go back 10 years, we used to have lots of smog days. So in the city of Toronto, you used to see sometimes this like yellow haze.
Oh, really?
And there used to be pollution, and you don't see that. I can't remember the last time there was a smog advisory for the city of Toronto, and that was because of the pollution. We used to have in Ontario. One of our main sources of producing energy was coal. So we used to take coal from the ground, burn it, produce energy, and the big, smoke used to come out, and it used to just go over our cities. Since we've been in government, we've closed most of the coal plants. And in fact, this week we closed our second last one. I think there were 19. So one more is left open.
So 17 in Toronto or Ontario?
Just in Ontario. I think there was 19 in total. 18, I believe, have been closed now. And there's one more left slated for 2014 to be closed. But if you think of it from this perspective, over the last 10 years, closing these coal plants is the equivalent of removing 500,000 cars off the road in Ontario. So we know that there's a relationship between breathing and the smoke emission that's coming from these types of plants and other pollutants. And we've noticed that, the asthma cases in Ontario have declined over the last decade. Respiratory issues are on the, they're much better than they were 10 years ago. And it came to a point, where we were relying so much on this dirty energy. We've changed the entire system here in Ontario, and it's healthier. And we estimate that the healthcare cost and the environmental pollution cost, there's a savings of about $4 billion because of the change in our energy sources going into clean energy.
The $4 billion, you mean every year, or it's just for the
$4 billion years in total of savings on healthcare and the environment by stopping, the continued pollution through coal plants.
Okay. Cotto 先生说呢，在过去的10年当中，安大略 最大的一个提高呢，是因为我们的雾霾天气在很大程度上有所减少。说10年前呢，就是在多伦多地区，你经常会听到报道说有雾霾天气，然后对人们的身体呢造成很大的威胁，所以政府呢就决定关闭了一些煤矿，因为当时是用主要是因为煤用于生产我们的电力发展，所以在过去的几年中间，他们关闭了17所煤矿，那就相当于有50万的车辆从这个道路上直接消失。那因为这些举措呢，使得空气质量有很大的改善。最终我们的 Healthy Plan 计划呢，也因此节约了将近40亿40亿美元的这个支出。So how is the Ontarian government addressing climate change?
So I think there's been the whole green energy piece. If you look at some of our schools now across the province, you'll start to see renewable energy. I know the Toronto District School Board's investing into solar panels, so the schools can run off of clean energy. We put forward different programs, a FIT program in the province of Ontario, to allow companies and other governments to use green energy as an alternative to dirty energy. But in addition to that, we took 1.8 million acres of land and protected it through the green belt. This is from Hamilton all the way through the GTA region, the Greater Hamilton region. This is a protected green space. And, people go out, they want to be able to enjoy the environment, go fishing. They want to make sure that our water sources are clean. Back in 2000 and back before our government came into power, there was contaminated water where people were ill, and there were people who died because of the contaminated water. In Walkerton. We've put in some safeguards and issued more inspectors to ensure, we keep our water sources clean, we reduce the amount of pollution, and at the same time protect green space so communities can enjoy that green space here in Ontario.
So speaking of the green energy, what is really a green energy?
So, anything that produces energy that doesn't provide any waste products. So solar panels, we have wind turbines, there's geothermal, there could be, many different sources of green energy, and we're finding that right now our system itself is relying more on green energy, which and we're a leader internationally in Ontario for producing this green energy, and we're relying more on that and other forms of alternative energy rather than the old way of producing energy. Now, back before we became a government, the energy system was so old in this province that, you weren't here, but we had a couple of days where it was, in lots of parts of Ontario, it was just completely, the energy was turned off for 2 days. So I remember in my house, we had no energy because the system was so old and the infrastructure was unreliable. We've rebuilt that system.
I was curious, how people would react to the 2 days shut off all the energy.
People were giving away free food at the grocery stores. Ice cream stores lost so much money, and people. It's been a decade, but and the anniversary just passed this year. But it was terrible. We were buying a lot of energy from the United States. We were not producing enough reliable, stable energy in Ontario. So our government decided, let's put in a new system that allows for a cleaner source of energy, that is better for our children and our families, and at the same time can protect us by providing reliable energy. And that's exactly what we've done.
And also the green belt you just talked about.
Yeah.
From Hamilton to Toronto, or from? It
goes 325 kilometers, and it's from Rice Lake in North Cumberland, and it goes all the way to the Niagara River. And it's, I'm just reading on my note here, it's the Green Belt's natural heritage system protects about 535 acres of lakes, wetlands, river valleys, and forests. So this is huge open space in Ontario. And one of the things that attracts newcomers newcomers to Ontario is the fact that we have a beautiful environment, we have a great wilderness that we love, and we want it here not only today, but we want it here tomorrow. And our government believes in protecting that type of environment and investing in alternative sources of energy so we're not polluting and we can maintain that type of lifestyle. Because I think that's what attracts people to this great province and this great country.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, all the immigrants before they move to another foreign country, they have to think about, what kind of country I'm moving in, and is it good for my children, or, do I breathe the fresh air, or, those kind of things. And
we want to make sure, like, in Ontario it's important. We have a great healthcare system, one of the best in the world. We have a great education system. There's jobs and opportunities, but also, what good are all of those if the environment's not good, if it's tainted? And, so our environment is, the envy of many countries. And I'm proud to call myself part of the Liberal Win government and a minister of this government that believes in a strong energy and environment policy that's good for Canadians that are here and future Canadians that come from other countries.
Definitely. So, so what can we expect for the future?
I think we continue to eliminate dirty energy. We continue to invest in good green energy in the province of Ontario that supports our economies. And we continue to build young people and new citizens of this country who believe that a good, strong, clean environment is connected to our future well-being and our future prosperity as a province. And I think those things are things that people can easily agree upon.
Absolutely. 口头先生说呢，就是安省政府在过去的几年中间建了很多这个绿化带，然后使得我们的环境有了很大的改善。那非常感谢各位收看今天的访谈节目，我们下期节目再见。Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here today. I appreciate it.